Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here. It's Friday. It is March 6th, and we got some fun stuff to do today. I'm going to do something a little different. We're working on, Dustin and I have been working on this new new video course on my approach to how I light stuff. Everyone is always asking me what's in my head when I'm lighting my subjects, when I'm doing my illustrations and my paintings. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably silence mine too, huh?
That'd be a good idea.
And so we finally decided to do a course on what my thinking is and all that kind of stuff. And so it's turning out to be like 13 or 14, maybe 15 different videos. And I'm covering everything from the basics of just thinking about how to light a sphere or a cube, all the way to what I'm working on now is lighting for animation backgrounds and that sort of thing. And so I've been working on a couple of backgrounds the last couple of days, and today I thought, well, heck, why don't we'll do a practice run on lighting one of these, and we can talk about that. And but it's going to be really cool because let me actually pull up some of the things I go through. I go through a couple of different scenarios, like colored lighting. Let me show you this. This is kind of cool. I take the same subject and I light it different ways. Like, for example, here, I took this painting of this lioness. Come on, baby. Come on. It's taking a little while to load for some reason.
You're loading 4 of them at once.
Yeah, but they're just JPEGs. And here we go. There we go. Okay, so, my goodness, what is going on? So, here's one scenario, being backlit at sunset. Here's another scenario, being lit from the right against a darker sky. Here's one where it's being lit from the left against a lighter sky. Once again, just thinking about different scenarios. Here's one with a noon sunlight being from above and standing under a tree with dappled light.
Is there a way you can make them just like a little bit larger? Because those are.
Can you make your face larger?
Can you make your butt larger?
Oh, it is getting bigger actually. Here, let me do this. Let me get rid of that. That way you can see them compared to each other. So this is one example of just how, and each one of these is a different video. And I talked to you about, all the different scenarios and thinking and everything else that goes into, what's going through my head. So there's that. And then, anyway, we've got all kinds of cool stuff. It's coming out in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be finishing it up. And so I'm trying very hard to get it done. And so today we're going to be working on this baby right here, this background. And we'll do some lighting on that. This is inspired by a little forest that I walked through in Wyoming out near Teton National Park. And these are all a bunch of aspens, and I decided to kind of stylize it a bit and turn it into a little animated background. And we're going to talk about how we can do some stage lighting in here. And I'm just going to kind of experiment because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do the lighting yet, but anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I got Dustin with me, like always.
Hey everybody!
Got my Diet Coke.
You Diet Coke?
Mm-hmm.
As always.
Hey, I got my Diet Coke, eh?
You get your Diet Coke there, bud.
And we got Nick in Sarasota. And I want to mention, real quick, actually, while I'm doing this, I gotta move this. We have got a 24-hour sale going on right now. So if you guys are watching it, and I'm going to be talking about my light course, go over to creatureartteacher.com and you're going to get 20% off your entire order. Okay? All you have to do is punch in the code word light. Let there be light. L-I-G-H-T. Not light beer, not like L-I-T-E. L-I-G-H-T. Light.
Let there be light.
Aziz, light.
Aziz, light.
What movie?
Fifth Element.
Of course, man. Fifth Element. And so anyway, go over to creatureartteacher.com and that's 20% off of everything, your entire order, including membership. If you want to get a membership, today would be the day to do it because it's 20% off, and so that's pretty cool. And then also, we've only got 1 week, and a week from today, we are going to be doing our watercolor course in Sarasota, Florida, and that's going to be March 13th through the 16th.
Yep.
Don't worry about coronavirus. Come on out. It's going to be nice and warm and hot and beautiful. And we've had a couple of people inquire about it, but no, we're moving forward, baby. We don't get that stuff here. So come on down, come on out. There's still time if you're here in the state or have the ability to get here within a week. Then go on over to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ and you can get all the information there. There's still a few spots left. And I think the whole travel thing has spooked a couple people, but don't let it spook you. It's going to be awesome. We're going, no problem. All right? So we're still doing it. Rain or shine, Corona or not. Maybe I'll drink a Corona or two. Who knows? But no, we're going to have a good time. And so come on out and do that. Am I missing anything?
Mobile app or
yeah, I mean we can hit all that stuff at the end. Definitely the mobile app. If you want to, if you're a member, or you want to be a member, but if you're a member, we have an app now, and so for the Apple phone, for iPhone, Apple TV, and iPad, we are going to have an Android version coming out very soon. But it's a great app. You can do in-app purchases. You can organize all of your material that you've downloaded, all kinds of cool stuff. And so go to the Apple Store and the App Store and search either Aaron Blaise, Creature Art Teacher, any of that. That'll give you the app, and you can download it for free and run with it. We've already had over 3,000 downloads, so it's pretty cool. I've already got a YouTube question. How to stay focused and motivated while drawing. Right now, I am facing anxiety issues and I can't get rid of it. And that is affecting my drawing practice. Well, I don't know what to tell you there, man. You're facing anxiety issues. Well, I don't know if you're having anxiety over your drawings or you're having some kind of external problems. But go out and run around the block. Or if you have anxiety about your drawings, don't. You're going to do bad drawings. You're going to do great drawings. You just got to get in there and draw. And, that's... I used to get really nervous when I would start a drawing, just wondering if it was going to come out okay or not.
You just got to go for it.
You got to go for it, E.
You got to just do it.
Yeah, you do. You just got to go for it. And, yeah, I mean, that's the best thing I can tell you right now. But anyway, I'm gonna jump in here. Unless we have anything else. Do we have anything else?
Not that I'm aware of.
So let's talk about lighting. Let's talk about this right here. I've got this scene. There's absolutely no lighting in it whatsoever. I did that on purpose. Let me have some more Diet Coke.
And Erica Bay says she can't wait for next week.
Erica coming all the way down from Alabama.
Alabama.
With a banjo on her knee. I love it.
Mandy just joined. He says, I do bad drawings, period.
Manny doesn't know how to do a bad drawing. Manny Carrasco.
He's probably like, what is a bad drawing?
Yeah. I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna. I've got so many different layers on this thing, but I'm just gonna try some Photoshop magic here. I'm gonna set it to multiply. And I'm going to probably bring it down fairly dark, down into this dark gray range. And watch this. Boop. I just turned the lights out. Now I'm going to paint with my eraser, and we're going to paint the light right into this thing.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how you doing? How's it going, eh?
How's it going, E? What was the best art advice you ever got?
The best art advice? Wow, that's a good one. I don't... Oh shoot, that's a good one. I don't know. There's so much that I've gotten that just adds up. There's tons that I've gotten that just add up. I don't know what to tell you. One thing is just be patient and stick with it and just go. and the more you do it, the better you'll get. And um, don't worry about, you know, measuring up to somebody else or anything like that, because you have to measure yourself against yourself. And if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying new things, and that's another thing. Don't worry about making mistakes. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best advice I got. And once I got that advice, I really loosened up, and it didn't bother me anymore. You know, I wasn't so uptight. Sorry, I'm trying to jump in here and trying to press settings. Oops, I just turned it off.
And Gabby says, "Morning, guys."
Hey, Gabster.
Hey, Gabby.
Let's pull that. There we go. So I've got my eraser here, and I'm thinking about the light being up. I'm gonna knock the opacity down a little bit too. I'm thinking about the light kind of up 3/4, but I'm thinking about the staging too. And that's one of the things you have to do when you're thinking about animation. And so in this, I'm thinking about right here in this kind of right center. I want this to be the stage where a character might be. And so I want to think about, how is that character going to read against the background. And so, hold on, sorry, I'm thinking. So how's that character going to read against the background? And so if I can get some nice light, like there's a hole in the canopy coming through and there's light coming down into this area, then that character can read light over dark. The other thing I could do is I could really light this background, get it into light back there, keep this in shadow, and then the character would read dark over light. So there's different things like that that you want to think about when you're lighting for animation. So I'm just, right now, I'm just thinking about some of that dappled light that's going to come down through these trees. Through these trees, eh?
Through these trees. You always talk about how you originally wanted to be a wildlife painter or National Geographic for National Geographic. Did you ever have any artwork published by them later?
I never did. It's been my dream. So if anybody from National Geographic is listening right now, hire me. I would love to do something for you. It's been my dream to do something for National Geographic.
Can you imagine if one of my photos end up being on National Geographic?
Hey, this isn't about you. This is about me.
Yes, it is. It's about both of us. I know we just talked about it.
Yes, that would be awesome, Dustin.
I know we just talked about it, but for people that just arrived, is the light course available yet?
No. It's going to be very soon, next couple weeks. So here I'm just giving a little example of what you can expect in our little lighting course. YouTube question. Can you talk about creating depth of field through lighting? Well, I will be talking about some of that. But depth of field to me is more of an aperture issue, not so much of a lighting issue, but I mean, I guess it is indirectly, because you're going to change your aperture according to the lighting.
Do you have any advice to do this with watercolor?
Yes. One of the things keep in mind, this is not a medium lesson. It's the way I think about lighting. And so, in that way of thinking, everything that I talk about, with the exception of what I'm doing right now, you're able to follow along traditionally or digitally. I'm not doing any kind of blend modes or anything like that when I'm working digitally in these, just so that you can see how I would paint traditionally as well. I'm building up layers, opaque layers, rather than trying to build them up, you know, through blend modes and cheating, that sort of way. Watercolor will be a little different, because watercolor you're going to start from dark to light. There we go. So you can see I'm thinking about the light off to the right, up and up high. You see the angle? The light is at that angle. And I'm just thinking about how it might dapple through the canopy. And it's fun just to lay a complete overlay on this and then just erase. I'm painting with my eraser right now.
Detlef, who's coming to the watercolor workshop next weekend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah, he is actually asking about that weekend. He's asking, is it okay if I will just work on cold pressed paper, or are you guys going to use a hot press for something specifically? I don't like to paint on it.
No, we're not using hot press. We're using cold press. So it's all going to be rough watercolor paper. I mean, you can work on any kind of watercolor. As long as you're working watercolor, that's all I care about. We had someone ask about working in Procreate, but using watercolor brushes. And I said, no. We want you working traditionally. That's the whole idea. And someone said, well, I don't know how. Well, that's why we want you to come to the course so you can learn.
How much do you do practice versus actually drawing in, say, over a week? Someone like you probably has a lot of practice already in you, but do you still practice?
No, I don't really practice. I think every time I work, it's practice. So every time I create something, it's practice. But I don't sit down and have like actual exercises that I do, drawing exercises. No. But, that's not a bad thing to do. But my thing is as long as your pencil is touching the paper and you're creating marks, you're learning and you're practicing.
Oh, Gabby's got a good question
See
here.
how cool that light is? That dappled light coming through? It's pretty neat. I got a YouTube question. My question is, how often do you replace your Wacom pen nibs? Even using light pressure, my nibs only last only a month. You know what? I've got this the 32-inch screen Pro. I've got the big screen. Can you see?
I just put
see
it
from
up
there. This glass it's got a slight texture to it, and so I switched over from the using those papery kind of felt tip nibs to a hard plastic nib, and it doesn't bother me. I've had this. How long have I had this one now? Over a year, right? Or a year at least?
At least a year.
I've never changed the nib.
I think.
I've never changed the nib on
because
this.
we did the unboxing for it last year. I think it was like early last year.
Now, I'm not super heavy-handed either. But I've never changed the nib on this one, which is amazing to me because I used to change the nib probably once every 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
And
Klaus Toxvig.
Klaus
is watching.
Sweet.
All the way from Denmark, or at least I'm assuming you're in Denmark, or nowadays you might be in LA. Who knows? Klaus Toxvig is all over the place. One of the coolest guys I know. And he introduced me to the world of Scotch. Good Scotch.
Good Scotch.
I never liked Scotch until I sat with Klaus.
Oh, is he the one? Oh yeah, he was.
Oh man, we got together at his place. He's very much a connoisseur of good Scotch, and we sat and.
You need to ask him what the name of that Scotch is that he.
Oh my God! It was like honey. It was delicious.
You make me want to try that Scotch.
Klaus is a wonderful producer and just a really great guy that I met when I went and gave a graduation talk at the animation workshop in Denmark, and Klaus helped kind of get the whole thing going for me. It was wonderful. And we've been friends ever since.
Nice.
So I'm just doing a little bit of dappled light here. Now I want some of it to be in shadow. I want the attention to be, right here in the middle. So that's where I'm going to put most of the light.
And Gabby's wondering, what is one thing that can make or break a landscape painting? Like I know there's many answers to that, but maybe the biggest one is
Yeah, if you paint it bad.
Is it color saturation, outline, scale, depth?
Um, one of the composition is one of the biggest ones. It's value. If you can get your values right, if you have your values wrong, then that's going to kill it. It's not so much color. Color obviously is a big part of it, but getting your values off and having a boring composition will kill the painting. So here I'm going to make it look like it's kind of, there's a break in the canopy. So, if you have a horizon line going right through the middle of the image, and then your values are off, it's just going to look horrible. That's probably my biggest thing I can say there.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
Will you do? Can you do a future live stream about the old school way of animation, how you flip the paper?
Oh yeah.
I find it fascinating how they do that.
I still find it funny that it's considered old school. It was just, to me, it was just like yesterday that we were making movies that way. I guess it was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
It was almost 20 years ago.
I think it'd be fun to do that again because I think you did a traditional animation early last year.
Yeah. So already you can see how this is coming together. If I turn that off, the dark layer, you can see it's just a flat composition. But as soon as, and this is the other thing too, the birches aren't pure white. They're kind of their local color is here. So you can see on my color picker that it's not pure white. It's got actually a fair amount of white. I can go brighter with it. But when I put that overlay on, I can make it feel really bright just by this darkening everything else. Oh, little Maxie's sitting next to me. He's coughing a little bit. How about warm-ups? Many artists start with warming up. You never seem to do any on screen. Is it because you already been fiddling around with the stylus before going online, or don't need to? I don't need to. I don't warm up actually that much. I just sit down and start drawing. But I've been drawing my whole life, so there's that. So one of the other cool things you can do working digitally like this is I've got, I'm going to experiment real quick. I'm actually going to double that up, turn that off. I'm going to grab, from the eraser, I'm going to grab this brush. And I'm going to use it, this is a foliage brush. And basically, I'm erasing
Do you think in the future...
Or I think the light should be. Go ahead, Dustin, sorry.
No worries. Do you think in the future it would be possible to do a course on YouTube on your approach to drawing buildings? Like the rookery illustration you did a little while ago. All the best.
Sure. Drawing buildings is not my forte. Architecture, I can do it. It's just not quite my forte. But yeah, we definitely can do that. So here, I'm using a foliage brush to erase away the areas that I want to be lit.
Did you try Japanese scotch?
No, I don't think it was. But I can't remember.
Well, I don't know if you're talking about, or she's talking about the specific, the one that you were talking about before. But just in general, have you tried Japanese scotch?
Oh no, I haven't. I have tried some. No, I haven't. No. So here, this is where it gets a little funky because I have to get. I want the foreground to be in shadow, so I gotta work around it that way.
And your little brother says, "Hello, butthead."
Hello.
And hello, little nephew. Hey there, little guy. Do you have any interest in tackling computer animation?
Not really. No. It's okay. I just don't have much of a... Here, I'm trying to create some dappled light in the background.
Well, I mean, you are animating on a computer.
Well, but it's still... yeah, but it's still 2D animation.
Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to crack a joke.
Would you please show us the brush you use for grass? I will. In just a moment. Once again, I'm creating some dappled light with this. Not sure I'm liking it. It's not too bad.
How old is Aaron? I've been drawing my whole life, but I don't know how. I don't know if that's much time comparatively.
I'm 52. Just turned 52 in February. So here, I'm going in and just creating a little bit of light here. I'm going to go in and brighten that even more. But it's starting to work out pretty cool. I like it. I like it. What do you recommend for learning to do backgrounds? Study landscape, study architecture, study layout, study film, film layout, that sort of thing. Because, you know, film composition, all that, your background basically is the frame, right? So you want to make sure that it's, you've got that language. So just little bits of dappled light here I'm putting in.
Usually I listen to these while working, but this one's got me riveted.
Riveted.
Riveted. Especially since values are the one thing you told me I need to improve. Is from John Steventon.
Oh, right on. Once again, I just want to remind you guys, if you're interested in joining our little painting soiree in Sarasota, Florida, there's only 7 days left, and we're really excited about it. It's our plein air painting course that we're going to be doing in Sarasota, March 13th through the 16th, and we'd love for you to join us. So go to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ, and you can find more information there.
The Kurt Michael screams out, "Bambi! Draw Bambi in the forest!" There
we go. So, just lighting up a little area here.
One thing I've noticed that I'm having trouble with is coloring something with two tones, where the lighter tone is in shadow. Like, for example, an animal with a lighter underbelly. What are your tips to pull that off without making the lighter tones look like
your tones that are in your shadow need to need to have the same difference as the tones in light, but it can really mess your eyes up. I'm gonna show you something. I'm glad you brought this up. Let me save this really quick, because you know what? I never even saved it once yet. Okay. Now, let me see here. I want to show you something.
Something.
Uh-huh. Value illusions. This is a this is in my course, in my lighting course. And I think this is what you're talking about when right here, whoops. So this, I think this is what you're talking about. This is an example right here where you have varying values, and then they go into shadow, which is what I've created here. And it's interesting because If you look at the light value that's in shadow, I've put that here. And then the dark value that's in light, I've put that here. Well, actually, let me do it this way. We'll do it. I'll just leave it like this. Well, what's interesting about those is this. If you look at these, you can see that they're slightly a different color. You know, one's brown and one's more of a olive green, but they're basically, they look like the same value. Okay, they basically look like the same value because they're surrounded by the same colors that as we have surrounded up here. Okay, but watch when I turn off the background squares right here. I think it's this one. Yeah, watch when I turn those off. Look how different they are. Look how much lighter this is than this value. It can really mess with your mind. And this value right here is actually the light color in shadow, and this value right here is the dark color in light. But look how different they are. And it really becomes apparent when we, let me turn this off, what is this one? Yeah, I want to turn that off. Let me turn that off. It really becomes apparent when we do it in black and white, and that's what I want to show you right now. If I can find the right shadow. There it is. And I want to turn, where'd I go? Sorry, I'm losing my mind. There we go. It really becomes apparent when we do it here. So now, look at these two values, okay? This is, right now, this is the value that's right here, the light value that's in shadow. And right here, this is the value, the dark value that's in the light, okay? So we've got the dark value that's in light is here. The light value that's in shadow is here. Now watch this. This one's really crazy. Watch when and you look at those, they look like they're exact same value. But watch when I turn off the background squares. Look how different they are. It is crazy how different they are. And this value right here is the light value, or the dark value in the light. And this dark value is the light value in the dark. Let me turn that back on. I turn that back on, all of a sudden they look the same again, don't they? It's like witchcraft. Look at that.
Sorcery.
It's crazy. And basically what I'm trying to show you here is how value can be affected by other values around them, okay? And it's the same with color. You know, you can have a saturated color and throw its complement in there, and that complement will look even stronger just because it's surrounded by a complementary color. So this type of thinking with values goes into color as well. And so, but anyway, I cover all that in my upcoming course. Of course.
Of course. How do you decide what should and shouldn't be lit? Is it just something you learn from how much nature you're drawing and how much you've done?
Yeah, I mean, you and this is something I explained during the course. It's really thinking about, you're thinking about light direction, where it's coming from, how it's going to hit the form. You approach it that way.
Do you mirror and watch out for tangents on the drawings of the animation you do?
Always. Yeah, I'm always looking out for tangents. As well, you should as well. As you should as well. There we go. Can't talk neither. Hi Aaron, I'm working on a mouse cycle and having trouble figuring out how to make the background move along with the mouse, if that makes sense. Background rushing past as the mouse is running. Well, if you can do it a couple of different ways. You can animate it, which is kind of a pain in the butt, or you can composite it so the background is different. You export and you composite in your editing software, which I use Premiere, and so I put a move on the background first, so it's rushing by, and then I just have the animation layer of the mouse running, and you just have to match the pace of the feet, and that's how I do it.
Das feet.
Yes, das feet.
I I'm late joining the stream. Today seems very different. A landscape instead of character or creature and working only in gray tones?
Yes.
What have I missed?
Well, I'm talking about lighting today. I'm just going to go in and kind of hit some of this. I'm going to dab it.
Will there be a live stream in 2 weeks?
No, actually, no. And there, in a week, there will not be a live stream next week.
Because we're going to be in Sarasota then.
We're going to be in Sarasota. Scary Soda.
Scary Soda.
Yeah.
First time hearing that one.
All right, so I'm just adding a few more little bits of light here. And then back here, in this negative space, that's the light. We're looking through the trees. Question, what's your favorite type of bear? My favorite type of bear is probably grizzly. Coastal brown bear.
Is it grizzlies or black bears that are in Montana?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, we saw both when we were there.
Yeah.
The ones that were way off in the distance were grizzlies. The one that was up close eating
Yeah.
the grass, that was a black bear.
What about the one with the 2 cubs? Was that grizzly?
That was grizzly, yes.
Man, I missed a perfect opportunity then.
Well, you'll live and learn.
Yeah.
But
Imagine
dappled
if we
light, just getting dappled light right here.
Imagine if we end up having that exact same encounter on this next trip.
Yeah, it'd be insane, wouldn't it?
You're like, what's going on?
Well, it's possible. So I'm just hitting little bits of light here. And for the person that's coming in, this is part of my lighting course. I'm got a course coming out in the next couple of weeks, and part of it is, lighting for animation.
Hello, do you use custom brushes or are they in Photoshop by default?
No, these are all custom. The one I'm using now is a default brush, but the foliage brushes are my custom brushes. But I've got them available on my website, the Creature Art Teacher. All my foliage brushes, they work really well.
All your foliage?
My foliage. So right now I'm still just working on pulling out some of that dappled light. Right there. And creating some dappled light on the forest floor. I'm using both my foliage brush and just the round brush.
Aaron, for
Yes.
which classic traditional animated Disney animated feature used lighting in the most effectively? For me, it was Pinocchio.
I thought Pinocchio was absolutely stunning. Well, I also loved Snow White. Not Snow White, but Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, Snow White, I think, did a pretty
It wasn't
good job
bad.
with their lighting.
Yeah.
And Gabby's asking for the Florida trip. Is transportation included or no?
No, not right. No, but there's a really good Uber system.
And that's where she says, believe it or not, I've never used an Uber before, so I don't know if I'll have to download the app.
Yes, and Nick will be able to help you out with that. Hey Aaron, is there a remote chance you'll ever watch the redrawing of the? Is there ever a chance to ever watch you redrawing your version of Ariel from The Little Mermaid? That would be a dream. I can't. No, there's no reason to. It's already perfect. That's a Glen Keane design. Come on, man.
Right now, I'm animating a bull African elephant walk cycle based off of your four-legged animation extra. Love the extra content. Ever thought of doing the same with the elephant PDF and doing elephant drawing lessons?
Yes, actually, we're going to be doing just like I've done with other animal drawing courses. We're going to be doing one on elephants. Or actually, it's going to be a part of a big pack of the African Big Five. So it'll be elephants and lion. Well, we already done lions in the pack, but rhinos and hippos and all kinds of stuff.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Oh my! Oh my!
So now I'm going in and just redabbing some of the, breaking it up a little bit. What would you tell an artist who started drawing? I gotta move. I'm getting this overlapped. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts, eh? There we go. What would you tell an artist who started drawing to make cartoons but needs to draw realism to improve, even though it makes him feel terrible? Well, I don't want art should never be make you feel terrible. There's going to be times that you're going to struggle at it, but you got to know that through working this way, you will improve.
I'm just waiting for Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia to whiz through this background on speeder bikes, followed by demented psycho Ewoks.
I keep forgetting to take the color dynamics off. There we go. So I'm going back and forth, between adding, because some of this will have plants overlapping the dappled light, just like that. Whoops, probably a little too big.
And
like I'll have a little shadow going back this way.
Uncle Travis says this lighting course is perfect timing. I'm currently boarding, which involves light and clouds in this sequence. Of course, boarding in gray tones. Aaron may not be doing live stream during that week, but I'll be doing live stream on that Wednesday.
Oh, way to self-promote, Travis. So you can see what I'm doing here is creating a little shadow going across of that tree. But yes, follow my brother Travis Blaise, who's also a relatively decent artist.
Yeah. He's not bad.
Hey, not bad, bud. No, he's awesome. And he's got his every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So there. So now you can see we've got some nice shadows going through there.
There
Nick has posted a link to the foliage brushes. That's awesome.
There's the ad for Uncle Travis's live stream on Wednesdays at 11.
Oh yeah.
And back to you.
So now what I want to do is I'm going to put a layer on top of this, and I'm going to set it to overlay, like so. So you're already getting. First of all, I wanted to just show you how simple this value structure is. It started out like this. I covered the whole thing with a multiply layer, darkened everything, and then just erased away where I want it to have light. Now I want to broaden the value range, so I'm putting a layer on top, setting it to overlay, and I'm going to bring my value up a little bit, up here, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to go into these plants and watch. I can brighten some of them up.
I feel silly, but how do you
Oh, you feel silly.
How do you copy and paste in Procreate? Also, besides the eraser, is there a way to delete using the selection tool within Procreate?
I have to look at it. My brain, I can't jump around right now.
Oh no. And Nick Kiesel says, you guys could slot in quite nicely up here in Canada with all your A's. So come up for a lecture.
Eh? So how about coming up for a lecture, eh?
Well, I think if we go up there for too long there, eh, we might actually end up moving up there. I suggest you let that sit there and marinate. Do these brushes work with Procreate?
Yes. They take a little bit of adjustment, but they do work with Procreate. So here I'm just brightening up, getting that sunlight even brighter on there. Hitting some of these little buggers.
Nick Kiesel also says the foliage brushes are superb. Love using them.
Oh, good. Yeah, I really enjoyed making them. I had an issue. I was trying to do an illustration, and I just had so much grass and everything to create, and I just said, you know what? I'm just going to see if I can make a brush to do it for me, and I did. It was cool. So now I'm going to go in, and rather than use everything as a foliage brush, I'm going to use my little pastel C brush, and now I can use it to just create little bits of grass. Actually, I'm going to put a layer on top. And I can just kind of vary it up now by adding little bits of grass, like little plants growing that are catching light. See? I've already got all the groundwork from the foliage brushes. And now I can just add little things that vary it up a little bit. Like so. Julie asks, when you do local colors, how do you tell if a particular color is a shadow and isn't just part of that animal's pelt color? I have trouble telling the difference. For me, it's really just varying. It doesn't have to get that exact. Sometimes I have the same trouble, but as long as you're varying up the local color enough, you don't have to worry. So right now what I'm doing is I'm adding these little bits over dark. So I'm doing light over dark. And I'll do the same thing like with the shadow.
I discovered there's a animation course in my college, but I don't know whether to take it or not. I'm tempted to wait until I finish and go to the U.S. and learn animation there. I fear it could be inferior.
You should just download my animation course.
Nice. Should I just take it here, there, or both?
Yeah, I can't tell you right off the top of my head because I don't know what the course is. I don't know compared to the other course. I don't know, who's teaching it. There's a lot of variables in there that you're going to need to think about.
You just don't know what it's all about.
I don't know what it's about. There, see? So you add these little bits of foliage and it really brings some nice reality to the scene. So speaking of light, I want to remind you guys that we've got a 24-hour sale going on right now in celebration of our light course. And so if you go over to creatureartteacher.com, like these brushes, if you like these foliage brushes, you can buy them and get them for 20% off. Everything is 20% off. You just have to punch in the discount code LIGHT, L-I-G-H-T, and you are good to go.
Nice.
It is quite nice.
Yeah, quite nice.
So here we go. I'm just adding these little bits of light in here. Now basically, I think I've got the darks as dark as I need them. And so you can see how quickly, when you start out, when you're working digitally, you can see how quickly, this, I sat down and I did this little layout when I got up this morning in anticipation of our live stream today. And now all I'm doing is, adding this shadow layer and erasing away, and then adding another layer for brighter brights, and now we're adding little bits of foliage. Look how cool that is. Is that cool, Jim?
Is that really cool, Jim?
My friend Jim Jackson, who is the 11th man to walk on the moon, by the way. When Dustin was really small, he used to jump on the trampoline and try to do tricks and impress Jim. And he'd run around going, "Is that cool, Jim? Is that really cool?" It was funny. At one time, Dustin was a cute kid.
At one time. I don't know what happened.
Sometime in the past.
I think it's all the pizza.
So now look what I'm doing. I'm going in and going into the shadow area and letting some of these plants come up over the light area. So you can vary it up this way. See there? You see what I'm doing?
See what I'm doing right there?
Twitch question: how much of learning art do you think is momentum and just doing the things you're scared to do? I think it's all of that. That's a really great way of putting it. Because once you do it, and you get used to it, you're not scared anymore, and you've got the skill, right? That's a really good way of putting it.
Will you have more Aaron's art tips focusing on light soon?
Well, I've got a whole course coming out on light. So that's what we were talking about earlier. In a couple of weeks, I've got this course. I think it's gonna be like, what, 13 hours?
At least.
Yeah, it's a lot. I basically put everything I know about light and my approach to it.
Well, like the first six or seven episodes are like a good half an hour. The rest are like 45 minutes each.
30
the
to 45
the shortest
minutes.
one is like 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, we only did one of those.
Yeah, but the rest are all like between 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. So look at how we can give the illusion as well that we've got this whole forest of grass and plants and everything else, but really all we've done is just used our eraser and pulled out a few areas and then highlighted a couple of areas. That I think is pretty cool. And I'm going to go in here and grab that and go back and, oops, come on, catch up. Where's my cursor? There we go. Just in some of these little areas of dappled light. I'm just going to add a couple of little plants popping up. Frank on YouTube says, to copy and paste in Procreate, swipe the screen with 3 fingers. The options will appear. There you go. Thank you, man, because I couldn't remember.
How are you guys doing today? I just joined.
I'm doing great.
We're doing pretty good.
We're doing great, bud. So here you go. There's some lighting. Well, there's some lighting there, bud.
There's some lighting right there. Have you ever tried Clip Studio Paint?
No, I haven't. I've had a lot of people ask me about it.
Yeah, if you haven't, I'd highly recommend it, especially for sketching. The pencil brushes feel so real. I actually tried to use a real eraser on my screen tablet the first time I tried it.
Oh, wow. So here I'm going in and just brightening up some of these areas on the birch. Not the Nick birch, but the birch tree.
That's birch.
Actually, these aren't birch. These are aspen.
The background is very dark gray. Is there a reason for this, or will Arian, where will Aaron paint it light?
No, I'm keeping it dark. Yes, for a reason. When if there's I'm going to have a character in here. I want it to feel like deep woods, and there just happens to be a little bit of light coming through. I'm actually going to do some more dappled light on more of these trees, but let me just throw an overlay on here real quick, and I'll show you what if I had a character. Let's say, let's just draw it in, shall we? So if I had a character like so, and she's standing in the light, look at that hair coming down. So if we had her right here in the light, we'll just have her hair coming down. We're just scribbling her in really fast. Here's her little arm coming in. She's walking through, hold on.
Sorry.
And she's walking through the shot like this. She would be in light like this. And then if I add a little bit of shadow to her, maybe she's got some dappled light on her. She's still like so. This is how she would read. So you have that dark background, and your character will read. That's the whole idea. You want your characters to read, and so there's a lot of planning that go into these backgrounds when you watch them in a film. And so there's when I would animate, let's say on The Lion King, I would get not just the background to animate to, but I would get a setup of where the character should move through the background, kind of stage directions, so that the background painters would know how to get that painted right. And there would be a value drawing like we're doing here that the background painter would use as a starting point.
What's your favorite tree? What's your favorite kind of tree?
What's my favorite kind of tree? Sequoia.
Sequoia.
My favorite kind of tree is a sequoia. Beauty.
What's your favorite Disney movie you worked
on? Brother Bear. I mean, being able to direct a film was a wonderful experience. But other than that, I really enjoyed The Lion King. I enjoyed every single film I've worked on. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. All of those were great experiences for me. So once again, just adding a little bit of variation in here.
Have you ever painted backgrounds for a movie?
No, when I first started at Disney, when I first got my internship, I thought I might be a background painter. But it turned out that nope, I decided not to. I got really hooked by animation, really hooked by it. So there we go. So there's a first kind of pass. Actually, let me get a little bit more. Let me get some more of these birch trees back here. Whoops, wrong layer. YouTube question: for a semi-beginner in art, which medium would you recommend for scenery and animals? If you're just getting started, one medium I started with, and it was easy to figure out and get a hold of, was colored pencils. I really loved colored pencils because it was an introduction for me with color. Most of us know how to use a pencil, and so it wasn't a big leap. And then from there, I started using other mediums such as watercolor and acrylic. But those you really got to spend some time to learn those mediums. But with colored pencil, you can. It's an easier transition. And so if you're a young artist just starting out and you're looking for, that type of thing, then I really recommend it. There. I'm just going to keep some of this dappled light higher up in the trees in the background. Keeping it loose. How we doing over there, Dustin?
We are doing good. Did I ever ask have you ever painted backgrounds?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you will grow your hair again?
No. Probably not. I've fallen in love with my hair being short. I got really tired of it. My hair was long for 25 years, and I donated a lot of it, which was nice. But I just got tired of it. It's just I got tired of sitting on it. I got tired of pulling my long hair out of my butt crack. I got tired of all of that.
Yeah, I'm debating whether to cut mine again or just to let it grow out.
Well, I like having it short. Actually, when it gets this long now, I went from 25 years of long hair to right now I can't wait to get my hair cut again.
What software do you recommend for demo reel animations?
For demo reel?
Demo reels.
I don't know. Any software. You can do any software as long as the animation's good. I don't know if you're talking about 2D animation or 3D or what.
Or what? What determines on how many shots get to be shadowed in an animation film?
Get to be shadowed?
I noticed The Lion King has shadows on almost all
Oh,
of
the
his
characters.
and scenes, as opposed to Aladdin that has only sometimes. Is it time constraint thing, or does it go with the art direction?
It's both. Usually it is a time constraint, but more often than not, more than that, it's a budget constraint because it's extra drawing. And so, it's but definitely art direction as well.
The person that asked about the software, he says this for 2D animation.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, it's I use TV Paint for my animation, but I'm not quite sure I understand the phrasing of the question because you said what's the best software for an animation demo reel?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know about software for a demo reel.
I mean, if the animation's already done, then you could probably use something like TV Paint or Premiere Pro, just as long as it's a editing software.
Well, there we go. So there's one version of the background, and their character would be right there. I'm going to save this, and then save it as a. Whoops, I'll let it save.
Do you have
Save it as a JPEG.
Do you have your own personal character that you illustrate or animate more than once? I mean, who's your Mickey?
Do I have my own personal? Oh, my Mickey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I designed characters for Disney when I was also, back in the day when, as a supervising animator, we didn't just animate our characters; we were in charge of designing them as well. So, I designed young Nala. I designed Rajah, the tiger from Aladdin. I designed Yao from Mulan. I designed all the ancestor ghosts from Mulan. Along with Chen Yi Chang, who is also the character designer on that film. So yeah, there was a lot of. We all had different characters, so yeah, it was pretty cool.
Which of the characters do you draw often the most when signing autographs or anything like that, or when you're doing?
Oh, usually bears, like Brother Bear type
like
characters.
Coda.
Yeah.
Coda or Kenai.
Now, one thing I'm missing in here is a little bit of atmosphere. Now, there's something what we can do. I think it'll look kind of neat. Bum. Let me see here.
Question.
Yeah.
When you start painting digitally,
Digitally?
uh, do you make a black and white quick thumbnail with light and shadow to get a clear picture of the idea in your mind? Or do you have a clear picture already in your mind? Like, do you just go for
No, I do thumbnails a lot of times. It's probably half and half. So I'm gonna do something. One guy. I'm gonna do a little gradient right across the whole image right there. See that? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to foreground. I don't want in any of this light, so I'm going to erase away. What I'm doing is I'm creating some light beams streaming through. So the stuff in the foreground, I want to be dark.
question.
Okay.
Hello, Aaron.
Oh.
Will you be selling your custom brushes optimized for Procreate separately from your Procreate course? I've imported your custom brushes from Photoshop, but would like your optimized ones. Thanks.
I thought they were working pretty good, but if there's an opinion out there that you would like me to do that, then maybe I just didn't think that. I thought they worked pretty good already, but I can try to do that for sure. Okay, so now we've got this, and I might. Well, anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Whoops. Okay, so now I got to match the direction. Whoops. Got to match the direction here of the light coming down.
Have you ever worked with Hans Bacher?
Yes, Hans Bacher.
Bacher, honestly.
Hans Bacher and I are very good friends.
It's always either the CH is always either a ch or a k.
But he's German.
It's like, oh, well, that explains the Hans, I guess. Yeah, his background concepts are stunning, and his book DreamWorks is really good for learning composition.
He's one of the masters. He is absolutely one of the masters. So I'm going to blur that a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me blow that up so you can see it.
Aaron, oh, Aaron, please let down your hair.
There we go. And I probably will lighten that just a touch. I don't want those light beams really super strong, but it does add a nice little bit of atmosphere. And one of the things we can do, because I love doing all the little insects in the air and dust and things like that that you might see in the forest. Now that we've got the light beams, you would definitely see them in the light beams, right? Right?
Right.
Right?
Right. What do you think about the last Mulan trailers? It looks like they go more in a fantasy way, like the warriors running up the walls.
I know. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know. Actually, I'm pretty excited to see it.
What's your favorite Lion King song?
Lion King song?
Yes.
My favorite Lion King song, Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. That's almost like our family motto.
Exactly. We've been through a lot.
Hakuna Matata.
There we go. So I got some little insects going through the air. There. How do you first start to learn grayscale? Well, you just, learning the grayscale is basically teaching you how to see various values, the differences in values. The grayscale is usually broken up into 10 different values going from white to black with 8 different values in between with a slow gradient. And so it's, learning how to do that is basically teaching you to see those slight variations in value. And then when you start, you can apply that to looking at the world around you and seeing how there's different values between objects that, here when we do a line drawing to represent the world that we see, those lines are really representing where different values are coming together. There is no lines out in the world when we're looking at something. What we're seeing are 2 different values coming together. We're not seeing actual lines, and so it's teaching you to see those value changes, and so that learning that value scale is really fundamental in doing that. A YouTube question: would you say that it's possible for a bad artist to actually be a good animator because of his sense for movement, but at the same time lacking in his drawing abilities? Well, it depends on the type of animation you want to talk about. So if you're talking about, trying to draw like South Park, yeah, I mean, you can have some fun. You can do fun. If you're wanting to do Disney style animation, then no, I don't think you can. But there's a lot of 3D animators out there that are brilliant animators that don't draw, and so I think it depends on the style of animation that you want to do, and what medium. So there you go. I think you got to set your sights for the right type of the right style. So I feel like we're getting pretty close to finishing up. We're going to do a short one today. But I just wanted you guys to get a sense of what it is that I'm doing in this light course. Here, once again, I want to review this. Let's take this, put it all in one folder.
In one big folder.
So when I turn off what we did, this is where we started today. And this is what, how I start with a lot of the lectures that I have in this course. We start with just local color or flat gray art because I do talk about value first. One of the things I talk about in this light course is that the most important element to understand when approaching light is the sense of value, light and dark. As long as you have your values right, you can have the wrong colors in there and it will still pretty much work. You can use almost any color. You can. I've done this as an exercise where, we just wanted to make sure our values were right, but we used whatever color we wanted, and it still came out looking 3-dimensional and really cool. And so that's the first thing I talk about. And so that's why I'm working in grays, because I want you to understand, where we push things darker, where we bring things lighter, and in this case, also with the added element of we're doing it for a purpose, which is creating a stage for a character to act in. And so, starting out with something like this and then ending up with something like this, which is really, really fun and really cool. And so, like I said, we'll have the entire course done in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be over 15 or 16 videos, starting out with the basics of how to light a sphere and understanding the light direction and how shadows are created, bounced light, reflected light, warm light, cool light, colored light, all of that. Here's one that I just did. This one's of Angry Nick.
Angry Nick.
Here's Angry Nick. Hold on, let me bring it down here. Angry Nick. Come on, Angry Nick. There he is. I gave him blondish hair though. But there he is. This is where I was talking about colored light, and how colored light can be, really, really effective for certain things. So, and once again, here the different cats that were created. All the same drawing. And once again, I started these like this. I started them all just with flat local color, and then we went in and we added all the different values and temperatures of color to create our light and darks. So once again, it's a very full course, and we're really excited about it. And also, don't forget that today we have a 24-hour sale going on, and to celebrate our course coming out next week or the week after. And so if you go over to creatureartteacher.com and purchase anything, you're going to get 20% off of the entire order. That includes memberships. So, which is almost I think that's a $40 savings on the membership. So go over and check that out. It's creatureartteacher.com/SR no, what am I saying? I'm sorry, I'm getting...
Are you okay?
I was thinking about this light. It's not... It's creatureartteacher.com. Go over there and type in the code LIGHT. I'm mixing everything together. I got too much in my brain. I used to be blonde.
Overload.
I know.
System overload.
Yeah. So, type in the discount code LIGHT, LIGHT, and you can get that 20% off. So let's go back over to the other thing I was just talking about, which is our painting course in Sarasota. We're a week away from it, and we still have some slots open. And if you guys are interested in coming down and seeing us here in sunny Florida, right on the Gulf Coast, then go over to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ. That's what I'm talking about. And that's going to be our painting course. Ronnie Williford and myself are teaching plein air painting in watercolor. We've got some really great locations that we're going to be going to. The Ringling Art Museum. The grounds there are absolutely stunning. We're going to be going out to Bayfront Park, right there in downtown Sarasota, and painting the boats and the bay itself. And Selby Gardens. We'll be going out to Lido Key. And we'll be having a couple little surprises out there as well. So we'd love to have you guys out there and join us. So go over to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ and you can do that. What am I missing? Oh, Patreon. Go over and check out our Patreon page and donate if you can. It really helps us out, and every little bit you can throw our way really helps us create more content. And so that's patreon.com/AaronBlaiseArt, and that's a big bonus for us as well. That's it. And I've got my Procreate course out too. That's brand new. It's out. It's been out a couple of weeks, and it's been flying off the shelves. If digital goods can do that,
yeah.
But they've been flying off the shelves. And so if you work in Procreate on an iPad, go on over there and check out our brand new course on my approach to drawing and painting in Procreate.
Yeah.
What do you got? What else you got? Mobile.
Mobile app.
And then the other thing too is check out our app.
Apple app.
We've got our app. I'm gonna pan.
Panda pan.
Yeah. So I wanted to zoom in on this for you guys. The other thing too I wanted to show you. Look how loose you can be with this stuff with the foliage brush. It's just really there's not really leaf shapes in there other than what I drew, but it's enough of it breaks up the space enough to fool the eye into thinking you're looking at leaves and that sort of thing. So it's kind of cool. But the app, go to the Apple Store or the App Store, and it's right now our app is working on iPhones, Apple TV, and iPads. And search Aaron Blaise or Creature Art Teacher, and you will find it. And it's a great app. Enables you to do a lot of things, and you can have access to all the material on the go, which is really cool. And you can do in-app purchases. So there's that. And so anyway, I know this was a little bit of a short one, but I wanted you guys to get a little sampling of what it is that I'm doing in this lighting course, so you can get maybe a little anticipation for it. So go out there and put some beauty back into the world. I hope you guys have a really great week. Remember, we're not going to be back. You're going to see us again in 2 weeks. We're not going to be here next Friday because I'm going to be in Sarasota teaching painting, and hopefully I'll see a couple of you there. So go out and have a beautiful, beautiful week. Be nice to somebody. Make someone else's life better. Put some beauty back into the world, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Dustin?
Thank you guys so much for watching. Glad you guys enjoyed this show. And if any of you guys are looking for any cool photography stuff on Instagram, you can stop by over at my Instagram, which is Dustin_Blaise. And I post a new photo. I try to post a new photo every day. And also, should I tell them real quick about the possible packs? Or we'll say that for
Oh, yeah, no, you can tell them about it.
So
It's going to be a little while before we get them out.
So they're under the works right now, but we so far have a couple of photo packs that we're currently in review, and we're going to be putting on the site probably within a couple of weeks of new photo references. They're going to be like alligators, sandhill cranes, great blue herons,
Florida wildlife,
many others, including the North American river otters.
Yes.
And those little cuties, they're everywhere in our DeLand location here, Lake Woodruff, at the wildlife refuge over there. So be ready for those.
Yeah, you've got some really cool photos of them.
Yeah, and they're all going to be looking great. So hopefully they'll come out soon, and hope you guys enjoy those. But until then, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And I keep saying until then. So
That's all right.
Until then,
Until
Cowboy
then.
Bebop. Have a good day. Enjoy your weekend.